So, yeah. I'm hard. I act hard. No. That's why I'm about to read you The Raven. What you know about The Raven? Alright? Check it out. So this is from a book. There's like pages and shit. From trees. Alright? Right, check it out. Who the fuck? This dude, I guess Edgar Allan Poe, says Edgar. The fuck? Well, he got 3 names and shit. I got 3 names. Anyway. Alright, here we go. The Raven. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of love-forgotten lore. Okay, hold up. What the fuck, man? Okay, you're gonna have some words that you gotta Google after. Check them out. While I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this and nothing more." This is horrible. Alright. You can cut and paste later the things you want. Distinctly I remember it was in the black December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books sure case of sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. Alright. And the silken, sad, uncertain wrestling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before. So that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor, entreating entrance at my chamber door. Some late visitor, entreating entrance at my chamber door. That is it and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating, then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is, I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here, I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more." Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence wasn't broken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore?" This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore." Merely this, and nothing more. I'm kind of surprised you guys have stayed with me this long, but alright. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul with me burning. So again I heard a tapping somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is someone at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still in a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flit and flutter in the stepped a stately raven at the saintly days of yore? Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird, beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore, though thy crust be shown and shaven thou, I said, art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore? Tell me what thy lordly name is on thy nice Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, Nevermore.
On Friday, yeah.
Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevance bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther did he utter, not a feather. Then he fluttered, till I scarcely more than uttered, other friends have flown before me. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said, Nevermore. Startled as the stillness broken by replies so aptly spoken. Doubtless, said I, what it utters, it is only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master whom unmercifully disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the derrigues of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of nevermore. But the raven still, beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking, what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore, meaning, in croaking, Nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing, to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat dividing, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamp light gloated o'er. But whose velvet violet lining with the lamp light glowing o'er? She shall possess, nevermore. Then methought, the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphine whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels hath sent thee respite, and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff these kind nepenthe, and forget that I lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, Nevermore. Prophets, said I, thing of evil, prophet still is bird of devil, whether tempter sent or weathered tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted on this desert land, enchanted on this home by horror haunted. Tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still. If bird or devil, but that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell me this soul, distant Aden, it shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom the angels named Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels named Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked, upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie that soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beat from out my heart and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamp light over him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. Edgar Allan Poe, The Raven.